Final Fantasy 16 is coming out in just 2 weeks, and some of you are either not convinced on the game or don't know about its existence at all. I, for one, have been covering a lot of content when it comes to Final Fantasy 16, and it's been really awesome seeing the way the game has changed over the years. But for some, you may or may not have watched those videos, which is why I wanted to make one last video covering everything that I said in those previous videos, as well as give you guys one last insight on Final Fantasy 16 to make you decide if this is a game for you to play. We're going to be going over the story, the development team, and the gameplay of Final Fantasy 16, and at the end of it all, I hope that it makes you somewhat more interested in the game. But at the end of the day, it is up to you if you want to buy it or not. I mean, it is your money. Do what you want with it. Before we begin though, I want to say that there is going to be very minimal spoilers in this video. However, if you wanted to get into more details with certain things such as characters, locations, icons, and dominance, then please check out the playlist that I have linked in the cards as well at the end of the video, as it will dive mega deep into the world of Final Fantasy 16. Firstly, even though this game has the number 16 in its title, you do not need to play or know anything about Final Fantasy in order to play and enjoy this game. Final Fantasy 16 is in its own world with its own story and its own characters. And yes, this does carry on with the other main numbered titled Final Fantasy games as well, so please don't feel like you need to play all 15 other games in order to play and enjoy Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 takes place in the world of Valisthea. This world is filled with large mother crystals that surround the land with what is called Aether. Aether is an energy source that allows people to use magic, and for a long time it was used to make lives a lot more comfortable. Naturally, with these giant crystals, nations were born, which brought an uneasy peace between them, as certain nations had different ideals and uses for the mother crystals, and it was only a matter of time before the peace was broken. One day, a blight starts to spread across the land as the aether of the mother crystals starts to diminish, meaning that the uneasy lives of people were being taken away, and aether is now becoming a finite resource, meaning that the once peaceful days of Valisthea are coming to an end. The main protagonist of Final Fantasy 16 is Clive Rosfield, who is the next in line dominant of the Icon Phoenix, or so people thought, as it was not granted to him, but rather his younger brother Joshua Rosfield. For people who don't know what a dominant or an icon is, let me explain. Dominants and icons are something that coexist with one another. Dominants are people who are born with the ability to host icons, and icons are the most powerful and deadly creatures in all of Valisthea. As Clive could not become the next dominant, he became a knight to protect his brother, but due to tragic events, Clive's home was burned down, his brother was slain, and becomes a dominant of the dark icon called Ifrit, which starts his long quest for revenge. You will play as Clive in 3 different stages of his life: his early teens, his 20s, and his 30s. The main story will take you anywhere between 35 hours to 40 hours to complete. However, just like any other JRPG, if you decide to do the side content, this time could go all the way up to a total of 70 hours, as there is plenty of things to do in this world. From side quests that let you explore the vastly open areas, to you crafting and upgrading your gear, it is all available for you to do at your leisure. Final Fantasy 16 doesn't feature a difficulty mode. However, from the start of the game, you can choose to equip accessories to make your game a lot easier and smoother, or you can choose to not have them equipped at all and make it harder for yourself and give you just a little bit of an extra challenge. Once you complete the game, you can transfer all your stats and equips to what they call the fantasy mode, which will make enemies a lot harder and gives you a little bit more of a difficulty curve if you so choose to do so. Along the way, you will meet many new companions that you will be able to add to your party, such as Jill and Torgal, as they will help Clive with the story and as well help you in combat. And speaking of combat, Final Fantasy XVI's combat has changed to being a very fast-paced, well thought out, and of course really awesome looking game. Each combat scenario will be different, as you will be going from fighting a small group of enemies to having insanely large scale icon versus icon beatdowns. You unfortunately won't be able to play as your other party members, but they will still be able to assist you in extending combos and dealing damage to your opponents. Of course, we can't talk about this game without talking about the insanely talented team behind making this game. First, there is Naoki Yoshida, who is the producer of Final Fantasy XVI. He is a veteran game developer who has been with Square Enix for over 20 years. He's best known for his work on Final Fantasy XIV, which he rescued from a disastrous launch and turned into one of the most successful MMORPGs in the world. Yoshida has been involved with Final Fantasy XVI since its early development stages, and he brings his wealth and experience and passion to this project. Next, we have the director Hiroshi Takai, who has been with Square Enix since 1994. He worked on a number of Final Fantasy titles, including Final Fantasy XI and Final Fantasy XIV. Takai is the director of Final Fantasy XVI and is responsible for overseeing all the development of the game. He has a reputation for being a perfectionist, and he is known for his attention to detail. Our main creative director, Kazuyoto Meihiro, is responsible for the story of Final Fantasy XVI. He has been with Square for a long time and has worked on other games such as Final Fantasy Tactics. Koji Fox is the localization director, as he has done many translations for Final Fantasy IX, Dirge of Cerberus, and many other Final Fantasy titles in the series. Hiroshi Minagawa makes a triumphant return to the Final Fantasy series as the art director. He has done various arts from Final Fantasy Tactics, 12, 13, and 14, and the list just keeps going on and on. Ryota Suzuki is a brand new member of the Square Enix team, as he has mainly worked with Capcom on games like Devil May Cry and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But make no mistake, he knows what he's doing when it comes towards action and Final Fantasy XVI. And lastly, probably one of my favorite devs and composers of the Final Fantasy universe, which has to be Masayoshi Soken. This legend puts all his work and passion into everything he does. While working on Final Fantasy XIV, he had gotten cancer and still worked tirelessly to bring fans an amazing music and quality to the Final Fantasy franchise. These 7 people are the foundations of Final Fantasy XVI, who work tirelessly to bring a deeply thought out RPG experience to players around the world, and personally, I have full faith that this game is going to be amazing. They know how to bring a rich experience to Final Fantasy fans and newcomers of all kinds. For those of you who are excited to play the game, a demo will be dropping in the next coming week, with details to be known very soon. As well, at this time, there are no plans for any DLC whatsoever. At this time, Final Fantasy XVI is a PlayStation 5 exclusive and will be coming to PC at a later date. It does say that it is a 6-month exclusivity deal with Sony. However, Yoshi P has stated that it would take much longer than 6 months to release a PC version of the game and would need a lot more support and added features to make sure that the game is properly running on PC. Although this video is short, there is a lot of stuff that you can uncover in the world of Alastea. I again highly recommend that you check out the playlist, as it goes through all the characters, locations, and a lot more news and information about Valistea. But please let me know in the comment section down below if this video made you just a little bit more interested in Final Fantasy XVI or not. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video.